Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to Coffee Conversation with Sandy. We are so happy this afternoon to have you with us. This is our Sunday afternoon Coffee Conversation with Sandy. It is a place of empowerment. It is a place of encouragement. It is a place to inspire you. Wherever you are, you need inspiration. Listen, come on over to Coffee Conversation. I promise you we'll have a conversation that will uplift your spirits, inspire you to be the highest and the best level of yourself that you can be, and also to empower you in those areas that you're feeling not so powerful. Okay. All right. Listen, I'm so thankful that you're here with us today. You all have been hearing out that we've got a very special guest with us. But before we get into introducing them to you, I want to let you know about, yes, why I'm wearing, I think it's looking purple or blue. It's purple or blue, but it is purple. And many of you know, this is the month to observe domestic violence. And we also have breast cancer awareness. And you ladies, you can take your mute, you can take your things off of mute if you want to interject. Yes, it's been a time of the year where we set aside to give solidarity, to give a time of being able to come together to acknowledge that many people, the statistics are that there's 1 in 3 women that experience domestic violence, Dawn, in this country. 1 in 3. That means, I'm telling you all, what the analogy came to be is that I'm standing in a grocery line. It's possibly 1 of 3 of those, three of us ladies that are standing there, Sheila. You know, 1 of us 3 have experienced domestic violence. And it's kind of like in my spirit, in my heart, I'm saying that probably all 3 of us in some sort. But statistically, according to CDC, they say that. So that is why we're in our bling, our purple, and just to give solidarity throughout this month. And so if you are an individual that have experienced domestic violence, we do want you to reach out for help. And if you know someone that may be experiencing domestic violence, yes, there is a number. It is under the www.dv.org, and we'll get that information up for you as well. And then you also, if you have come out of domestic violence, and you know, I was doing a radio show on yesterday, and I really believe that there's many women. I wouldn't say a survivor, but have been through it. And so when I say that, is that it took years of the healing process. And so if you happen to be one of those women that have come out of it, but you're also needing someone to support you, to help you through that journey, to help you through your time and this journey of being free, you're in the right place today. You're truly in the right place. So thank you for tuning in to Coffee Conversation with Sandy. I am so delighted today that you have taken a moment to stop by and just to hear and to have a conversation with us on today. Well, who we have with us is none other than inspirational speaker, but I call international speaker. She is a transformational coach, none other than Dawn Lieck. She's a speaker, she's an author, she is a best-selling author. And so we just want to we wanted to bring her on along with her project, along with some amazing, phenomenal women. I believe that you are going to meet for the very first time, and you're going to see a side of them for the very first time. There are a couple of women that you're going to meet today that have been on our platform before, but this is now another piece of her story. This is another piece of her journey. And so I am so excited. Dawn, thank you very much for choosing Coffee Conversation and coming along and being with us today. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you so much for the opportunity for me to be here today, as well as these fabulous authors. So very special.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. At this time, what we're going to do is give these ladies, these amazing ladies, an opportunity to introduce themselves to you, okay? And so that's what they're going to do. And so we're going to start with Miss LaShandria. And please forgive me, I don't want to mess up her name because it is a beautiful name, but she's going to introduce herself. After that, we're going to have Miss Angela Singletary. She's going to introduce herself, and then they're just going to go right along. And then let's go ahead and hear about their project. So go right ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm LaShandria Bradford, and I am a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and also a research dietitian. My chapter title is I Listen and Let Go. And so my chapter is a little bit about my divorce. I start off with the reasons I got married, and it kind of walks you through me getting my divorce and going through my divorce.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
thanks for having me.
All right. And Angela?
Angela Singletary, super excited to be on Coffee Conversations and thrilled to be a part of this book. I don't have my chapter title, but I have decided that I'm going to write about how overcoming different adversities has made me into an advocate of others. Mm-hmm. So just knowing the struggles that happen firsthand and being able to help others through some different situations.
I think that's amazing. That is amazing. Awesome. Okay, and we have next Sheila.
Hi, I'm Sheila Farr, and Miss Sandy, thank you so much for having us all today. My chapter is like Angela's, it's untitled, but it talks about the ways that we bind ourselves whenever we're in a relationship with God, and we give him our struggles and trials, and like in church, we lay things down at the feet of God at the altar. But then before we leave the church doors or before we finish the conversation, we pick those chains back up and put them back on. So it talks a little bit about that.
Awesome. Awesome. That is amazing. And then we have next with us, we have Miss Ashley Robertson.
Hello, I'm Ashley Robertson, and I'm excited to be here today. I am a mental health advocate, and I have personally overcome some of the struggles. And even though, we are survivors, it is still hard sometimes to go day to day and still fight those battles. My mental health struggles stem from self-esteem. Mm-hmm. And so I don't have a title for my book yet, but I'm leaning towards something about self-esteem and the connection between low self-esteem as a child and then growing up and having the mental health conditions to where it ties in together. And a lot of people, I don't think, realize that self-esteem it can lead into your mental health conditions mm-hmm. and lead into your adult life.
That's true. That is so true. And so as you were saying, is that you've yet to decide what your title is going to be?
Yes, ma'am. I have a couple that I'm thinking about, but I haven't narrowed it down to the right one yet. But I'm praying on it. So
awesome. That is amazing. It's always good to have choices, Mm-hmm. It's always good to have choices. It's amazing. And I think you picked a perfect project. This is a great project. I think you talked about, and I'm interjecting, and the reason is because I can relate to having a daughter that went through that. And so, so many women and so many young girls, I talk about the Lord healing me from the little girl in me. And so I think that is going to be amazing. Your project is going, your story. That's it. Getting your story out there. Out there. Ms. Copeland, how are you?
Great. Wonderful. Thank you for this.
You're welcome. Introduce yourself to us.
My name is LaTanya Copeland. I am the CEO of Essential Affairs, LLC, and I'm an event producer and design strategist. So I help individuals transform their ideas through events, be it a nonprofit, a workshop, a conference, or even weddings. The title of my book is called Taking the Next Step. And it's about, it talks about a pivotal time in my life where I was facing some very emotional, difficult challenges. And it truly was, I had to take the next step. And no matter where we are, what we're facing or what we're dealing with, our strength comes from conquering, the challenge, and that requires having faith and taking that next step. So that's what my chapter is about.
Awesome, 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 awesome. And I believe that we have Ms. Greggs with us. Ms. Greggs, she also is an author, one of the contributing authors. And so if you will, just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Sandy. I am Latoya Griggs, CEO of Free Spirits Health and Nutrition. I am a life and health transformation coach. And my chapter is going to be, it's called Pain into Power, and how I came over adversities of being obese as a young kid that caused a lot of self-esteem issues. And in that, you allow people to kind of take advantage of you, or, you really lose yourself looking for love. So I've been able to, since then, learn how to trust in the Lord and use my pain as the fuel to power me to the next step.
Awesome, 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 awesome. That is amazing. And so, ladies, as we proceed, I want to just give you a question. And this question is going to be for the visionary author of this amazing project. And let me just share a little bit more about Miss Dawn, who is the visionary behind the visionary author. This is a baby of hers. As I mentioned earlier, is that she is an international speaker. She is a coach, life transformational coach. She can correct me if I got that. I hope I got that right. And also, she is an author. I don't believe that in fact, I know this is not her first project. She was a contributing author in a project that I was a part of Trailblazers Who Lead. And that's how her and I became acquainted with one another. And I tell you, that group of women, ladies, let me share something with you. When you become a part of an anthology, when it's a divine connection, it's going to continue as an alumni, a sisterhood.
Right.
And so when you know that something is divine, when you know, there's something about this title, Finally Free. And I am reminded, the Spirit of the Lord is reminding me, y'all, let's go to the Lord in prayer. And you all know that's what I do. And then we'll keep on in our conversation. Gracious Heavenly Father, we bless you today. We do give you glory. We praise you. We honor you. I thank you for these beautiful women. I thank you for the visionary. I thank you for Dawn. I thank you, oh God, for this woman of God who has sought out to do a book project, and not just for herself, but to incorporate the stories of other women and how you have transformed not just her life, but the lives of others. Father, it is through you that we can find our freedom to be joyful, our freedom of peace, our freedom of being who you have called us to be. And so for today, Lord, we thank you, we praise you, and we give you glory and we give you honor. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Dawn, yes. As I mentioned, she has traveled over the world. She's internationally was a speaker, I believe, in Italy and Rome. And so, if you all didn't see her, she was on the Combat Coach platform. She also was on the Platform of Success conference. And so she is phenomenally a speaker, but very well known. Listen, that beautiful face and that gorgeous red hair. Listen, there's only one Dawn, right? And so it is none other that I want to introduce to you and let her start off by answering our very first question. And our question to you is, Dawn, when I think about finally free, when I hear that phrase for the first time, it gave me the impression that at some point of your journey and your author's journey, that you were or felt trapped, closed in, excluded, or even shut out. What was that like for you?
Well, Miss Sandy, first of all, thank you for all the accolades. You got me over here blushing. You're too much. But I would say for me, probably the best way to describe it was trapped. And, in a different kind of way that sometimes people can't understand, because from the outside looking in, I had everything. I had, a house and a husband and a great job and cars and, every kind of handbag you can imagine. Just really had it all, what society said that, we should have. I played by the rules and did everything the way, that we're supposed to do it as a woman, be the best wife you can be the best mom you can be. And I did all those things very well. And I was absolutely miserable, because in the interim of taking care of everyone else and doing everything that I was supposed to do, I lost myself. And so finally free has just been, my words, since I made the break and kind of just finally made it out into the world and just done me.
Yeah.
And so there are so many women that are trapped and not worried about themselves at all. They're just they're miserable, but they're focusing still on everyone else. So putting yourself first is, to me, the ultimate freedom.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And Ashley, again, how did that make you feel?
Well, it made me feel excluded. My word would be excluded, because with struggling with low self-esteem, it was to say I needed braces, and I had really bad teeth, and I was so quiet and I didn't want to talk, and I always felt unloved. I felt worthless, which can also lead into the mental health conditions that I've struggled with. Never thought that I would be loved. Never thought, went through a divorce. I actually had my first child at 18, and then got married at 22, divorced at 29, and then engaged again, have my 4-year-old with my ex-fiance. But this coming Wednesday, I'm going to celebrate 3 years with my new husband, with my husband now, Jeremiah, and I'm really excited. We have 4 children. So I have that love, that family that I've always wanted. And then that helps me with the self-esteem and the exclusion of I was never good enough. I'll never fit in. I want to be this, loved girl in school that just was excluded from everything. And a lot of times I look back and I think that there were times that I did it to myself. There were people that wanted to hang out or, but I didn't feel good enough. So I just struggled with that self-esteem, which led into an adult life. And then, of course, the divorce shut me down lower, but I've overcome that. And I'm going to share my story and hopefully help those that have gone through things, even starting as a young mom at 18. I chose to be a wife and a mom, so.
Awesome, awesome, awesome,
Mm.
awesome. That is
Thank you.
Give me. Okay, so that is amazing. I thought I was muted there. We want to celebrate you.
Yes.
Celebrating you. You could have stopped at some point, but you didn't. And you kept going. And now, as you said, is that you're celebrating. And so we together, we celebrate you. Celebrate what God has done in your life.
Yes, God is good.
So amazing. So amazing. We celebrate you. Again, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. You picked the right project. So keep sticking with Miss Dawn over there.
Definitely. Thank you, Dawn.
For sure. For sure.
Thank you.
And Miss Latanya, Miss Copeland, I believe I have you in. Did I have you in this question?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
So yes, for me, I would have to say the word is trapped and also excluded. I was 18 years old, fresh out of high school. All of my teenage years, I was kind of sheltered. I didn't have the freedom and the liberties, you know, that a lot of other teenagers have and date and stuff like that. So both my parents were of two separate religions, one very, very strict. And, you know, when I found out I was unwed and pregnant, you know, they ousted me. So I was alienated from pretty much all of the adults I kind of looked up to.
Mhm.
And it was just a very fragile time for me. And it just took a lot because I felt like I lost the village. And you know, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, from a small town, native Arkansas. I moved to Atlanta, Georgia in 1987, just me and my daughter, to join a couple of my other siblings. And I was just in the world as a young adult, pretty much felt kind of by myself. And having to just get through that and just get through life as a young adult, kind of, you know, learning through mistakes and not really having what I would say is like, you know, that my mom and the other women that I grew up with in my life.
So what you're able to now, as I mentioned in the question, is that so at that point, and so now you're able to share your story of walking in your freedom. No longer are you excluded. No longer are you women excluded, because believe it or not, I think we're in a club all by itself because at some point we all have felt excluded. You know, we have felt shut out. And now we're learning that we're not alone. And your story, all of you, powerful, powerful stories. One of the things, audience, about Finally Free, and if you're definitely on social media, you have seen the forerunning of this. These are some tenacious women. I want to give you their theme. They are tenacious, they are fearless, and they are bold, and they are triumph. They're walking in their triumph. They're walking in the victory. They're talking about the things that they've come out of. You hearing, as Miss Ashley was saying, is that the low self-esteem and being a young mother at a very early age. You hear Miss Copeland, as she describes being a young mother coming from leaving everything behind. But yet she took the courage. She took the courage. She took the courage. I have to say that 3 times because, for lack of a better word, but that is the word. She took courage and moved from Arkansas to Atlanta. Atlanta's big, y'all. I call it a city within a city. You know, it's big. It's like a little small New York. Listen, that's what it is. But one of the themes that the visionary author Dawn is saying is that these women have changed the trajectory of their life. And so for that, I applaud you. And this is just the beginning. Those of you that are just listening to us for the very first time, this is the visionary author herself, the one and only Dawn Lieck, along with the contributing authors of the upcoming anthology, Finally Free. At this time, they've been sharing with us a little bit of information about what it means to be free when they were in that place of being excluded, trapped, shut out from everyone. And so now what we're going to ask, when there was a difficulty in your journey, when there was, and when you decided, Sheila, when you decided to be fearless, describe that moment and how it made you feel.
Well, definitely finally free. But, you know, I think the thing that we do as women, and I think men do it too, but women more so, I think, and especially for me being kind of a little quiet and shy country girl. I grew up in Georgia, and I loved to read, and I was just a little shy thing, and I just, all I wanted to do was be smart and read and just feel special and make other people feel special. And I think there was a time probably around this maybe 2nd or 3rd grade, when some of my classmates were teasing me for answering questions in class, teasing me for taking my books home when we didn't have homework. You you know, and I think that caused me, that was maybe the beginning of me starting to play small in life, because that definitely, you know, at that point I started trying to shrink back. And really, I just wanted to be invisible. I wanted to be cellophane. I wanted not to be seen. And I think what happened then is it kind of sent me into a spiral of playing small all the way around. But you know, the beauty of the Lord and the call that he has on your life, when he taps you and tells you got to move out of that space, that it's, you know, that's not where you belong, that's what you do. And when you have the faith, and your knees are shaking, and you know you don't want to step out of that comfort zone because you don't want to step into that spotlight, but you know that the lies that the enemy has told you your whole life, that you weren't good enough, you didn't have any friends, you didn't, you know, nobody liked you, you weren't smart enough, you weren't good enough, all those feelings of less and lack and less than, those are lies. You know, God didn't design us like that. He made us wonderfully and perfectly the way he wanted us. So I think for me, the moment that you realize that, I mean, you are finally free. I mean, you literally, when you step into that love of God and that purpose that he has for your life, you literally can feel those chains just falling off of you. And when people look at me and normally I'm smiling. Sometimes I'm a little bit of a jerk, but not too often. I'm just a happy person. And the reason that I'm that way is because I just have the love of God on me and in my heart. And I always do try to find the best in everything, because that's the way he built me. He built me that way when those mean bullies were mean to me way back then, and I shied away from it. But guess what? I don't shy away from it now. You know, I walk in it and I step in it and I bring others along with me, because that's the way he wants us to work in the world. So for me, it was just a feeling of just victory. I mean, I love the song Victory in Jesus. It's one of my favorite ones. And I love to sing it with enthusiasm, because that's the way the Lord made us, is to step out and be bold and just, you know, love each other and lift each other up. So for me, that's what it did for me. And being a part of this with Dawn especially is a huge blessing. Number one, because I mean, I just love and admire her so much. And she's one person who's truly authentic and really walks her talk, if that makes sense. So it's just a blessing to be here. And all these ladies and gentlemen that are in our book are individually, they're phenomenal. So this book is going to be awesome. I'm just telling you, it's going to be awesome.
It really is. I can't wait to read it. I really can't. Miss Griggs, I haven't gotten to you. Share with us about being fearless, what it meant for you at that moment when you became fearless.
So at that moment, being fearless for me was, as she said, finally being free, knowing that I am enough, I have enough, and I'm going to have to fight my way back, because this is not my end. This is not where the story ends. And so that trajectory, as you say, to switch and it finally hits you that, wow, now I'm fearless. I live my life to the best, the fullest. And like she said, as Sharon say, I bring along others with me. It is totally okay to be who you are. Who you are. Everyone is unique in their own special way. You were created to be who you are so that you can help others. And when you realize that you don't have to imitate, it's no other duplication, it's no carbon copy of you. You just need to be you, authentically you. Everything else falls in line. And you are enough. You have what it takes. Use it and share it with others. So this book, as Dawn and you, Miss Sandy, I really appreciate it. This book here is going to be great. A lot of these stories touch my life already, and I haven't even heard it, but just for you sharing your little bit lets me know that we are where we're supposed to be and we're walking in our purpose. Amen. So run with it.
Dawn, share with us how this came to be.
Well, my journey, was a long and hard journey. And I had just really wished that I would have had a solid circle around me to support me you know, through what I went through. I mean, I flipped my life upside down all at once, you know, left the 20-year marriage, left the 20-year very well-paying job, and, you know, and in the midst of it, lost 250 pounds. So really, my life was upside down. And it's a hard thing to change all of that by yourself. And so I didn't have the circle that I have now. And so in doing that, that's one of the things, that's one of the reasons why I coach on what I coach on. And this book was just a natural thing. It was just a natural progression on all that I've done, you know, for myself, is just to try to help other people through it. And I talk to women on a regular basis, and they start to tell me their story. And I just, like, my mouth drops open, and I'm like, and you're still standing. You're still standing, because we just take it for granted that this is what we do, right? Because we have, really, as women, we kind of have no choice, right? You got to either walk through it, or, I mean, there's really not a choice. And so women do that on a daily basis, and no one else acknowledges it, because the women themselves hardly even acknowledge it and take ownership of the courage that they have in what they walk through every day. So for me, just being able to spotlight these women that have just been through and walked through and come out so triumphant. I look at them now, you know, it's kind of like you look at people on social media, and, you know, people say it all the time, thank God I don't look like what I've been through. Yeah. And, you know, we see that perfect, you know, smile on Facebook and everything. And when you get to know the backstory, you really get to know someone and know how strong and brave that they are. And these are women that need to be highlighted. They need to be spotlighted. The world needs to know. Their voice needs to be heard for the other women that are in these same positions that think that there is no light on the other side. They can't fathom how they can get from where they're at now to where these ladies are now. And so I just wanted the women to be able to share that and give others hope.
That is awesome. Oh, and like you said, is to give other women hope. And that is what this book is all about. So before we get into our very last question, we actually are going a little bit faster than we had anticipated, but that's an amazing thing. Tell us, do you have any spots that are left for to become a part of this anthology project? Have you set a deadline?
My deadline is the end of this month, so I would say November 1st. And yes, I do still have a few spots available. So if anyone is interested in joining our Finally Free family, we would welcome you with open arms. Everybody has a story to tell. You know, it's whether you're going to be brave enough and just, you know, walk through it and tell it. You can, you know, contact me, and I can give my contact information now, or we can do it at the end. But yes, I definitely have spots available.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, and so let me get my screen back here. I had it on Dawn, and so I wanted everyone to hear what she's having to say. And so in this last question, actually, and I want to give LaShondria, I want to give you an opportunity also to answer that second question, you and Angela. So we're going to go ahead. When it was difficult in your journey, when did you decide to be fearless? And describe that moment and how it made you feel.
Okay. I would say, so I kind of relate to what Don was saying about being in a marriage where you kind of lose yourself. You lose who you are, you know, especially if you were outgoing and doing things. I found myself losing who I was, and I couldn't, you know, I was like, where am I? Who am I? And as I said, I was going to walk you through the, you know, when I got married and everything. That's what my chapter is about up until I got a divorce. And so my moment came with the day my husband left, the day, and I'm the one who filed for the divorce. I'm the one who wanted the divorce. But the next morning when I woke up, I was like, I'm finally free. I'm finally free to be me. And I think my story is kind of controversial to some people, because some people say, well, you should have stuck it out. You should have tried to do better, tried to hang on to it. But from the beginning, I knew I wasn't supposed to be in that marriage. And all the warning signs were there not to get married. And towards the end, it was like I kept getting this hearing, you need to let him go. You need to let him go for him, and you need to let him go for yourself. You need to release both of you. And so when I finally did it, I never looked back. I knew that was the moment I was supposed to have, and that's what I was supposed to do. And so it's been 5 years now. I've actually been divorced for 1 year. It took me 4 years to get divorced. So I have 2 finally frees. Last year was my 46th birthday, and the theme for my 46th birthday was 46 and free. A week before my birthday, I signed my divorce papers. And that was like the moment. I was finally free.
Wow. Wow. Miss Angela, that's amazing. I love it.
I am a firm believer in that you did both yourself and him a favor by letting go, you know. So I guess my moment is similar in that I realized when I have a couple of moments. So when I was pregnant with my son, and I found out he was a boy, I kind of made a decision at that point that something in my marriage had to change. It was a really toxic marriage, emotionally abusive, manipulative, and I'd already had Aiden, my daughter, but for some reason, finding out Dia was a boy just made me realize it just wasn't going to work. And I didn't want either of them to grow up thinking that this is how a marriage was supposed to be. And so that was 5 years into the marriage. And so then 5 years later, after trying everything I could, I left, took my kids, and we walked away with nothing and just left because, again, I don't want my kids to grow up thinking that that is how you're treated, that's how you treat your spouse. And I obviously needed to heal myself so that I could be the best mom for them, because I wasn't doing them any favors by the shell of a person that I had become from that marriage. And so, and looking back was, I never imagined it would feel the way it did, because when I walked away, I thought I was walking away to save my marriage. But then when I was finally separated from it and I looked back, I could see how toxic and damaging it was, and then realized, no, I'm not going back. So that was definitely a big finally free moment for me, is deciding that I wasn't going back, and that was the end. And obviously not an easy decision, being a single mom of 3 kids, but so glad that I made it. And all of the struggles, the universe has always provided. It's been an incredible journey, and I am a completely different person today than I was when I walked away from that marriage. And I definitely think that it helps me be a better life coach and health coach for my clients, because I can fully relate to being in those struggles. So yeah, that's the long answer to your question.
I love everyone's answers. Again, they are tenacious. They're fearless women. They are bold, and they are triumph. Angela, I just keep looking at your board behind you. Talk to us a little bit about purpose.
So I graduated from Tulane in 2018 with a bachelor's in health and wellness. And when they started that program, I was in process of a psychology degree. Then they started that program and I jumped on it because it's the perfect blend of what I love. I'm a natural counselor. People tell me things that they don't tell other people all the time. Strangers will just say stuff and they're like, I don't know why I just told you that. And so I enjoy being able to be that receptor for people to share things. And I also understand the value of health and wellness, mind, body, and soul, not just, going on a diet or anything like that, but just really healing yourself so that you can be the best version of yourself. So, I don't really know how Purpose by Ange came about, but live your best life is definitely my goal. And I have, these are my babies. And so the bird and the logo comes from the birds because they're my three little birds. So.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Ms. Copeland, can you tell us why you, and I'm going to start with you. Why did you say yes to this project?
So in my spirit, I have wanted to write a book for a long time, several years, and I've had others to tell me, you need to tell your story. And so it's a challenge for me to write my full book. And so when Dawn approached me and said, why don't you, join us as an author and write a chapter, even the chapter is emotional, but it's something that I need to do for myself, as well as I know that there are others that will benefit from my story. So I'm just being obedient to the Spirit. Sometimes God tells us to do things and we don't want to do it. We want what's on the other side, but we don't want to discipline ourselves or take those. And so I'm just challenging myself to overcome this, because I know there are so many other things that He wants me to do.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right. And Ms. Griggs, why did you say yes to this project?
I said yes, so I couldn't say no. And so the purpose is because of the freedom and the fear. A lot of times we say no because we're scared. But if you're finally free, you have to walk in your freedom, and you have to use fear. You got to do it scared. I know it's a lot of people that say, well, how do you just do it? I'm scared, but I do it. And I know that this story, my life's journey of being a young mother, 16 years old, in and out of a lot of bad relationships, abusive relationships, having it all, being a nurse and having the life of your dreams, and then to go to zero, back down and be broken to pieces, having to move back in with your mom and start all over again, and yet here I still stand. Somebody needs to hear this. Yeah. So I had to make sure I said yes and not give myself a chance to say no.
That's amazing. She said to say yes and not even give herself a chance to say no. I'm going to ask these amazing ladies, again, those ladies that are remaining, if you will, just go ahead and let me know, why did you say yes, Sheila?
Well, like we said, Dawn was there, and as you said earlier, I was also part of the Trailblazers project, and we truly did have a sisterhood in that project. I mean, that was one of the most phenomenal experiences ever. So whenever I saw Dawn was offering this, and y'all probably have heard me say this before, but I think it's a holy push. I think when the Lord wants you to do something, He'll kind of give you a little shove, whether or not you feel like in your heart you wanted to. And I think LaToya, that kind of was like you had that little, I don't know if yours was a push or a tug, but you know how it feels when the Lord tells you to do something. The universe provides opportunities for you, and if you don't take them, you watch other people take those opportunities. So I didn't want to miss the boat on this one. So I definitely, I wanted to be close to Dawn, stay close to Dawn, and I'm so thankful to be part of this. So
amazing. Miss Ashley, and then Miss LaShondra.
Well, I said yes because first of all, I don't even know how I ended up on the phone with Dawn, and I did, and we were just talking, and I knew by our conversation that I didn't really have a choice to say no, because we were talking about my breakthrough, and I'm sure you remember that, Dawn. And I was just like, she said, well, this is your breakthrough. And for her to say that was kind of like, I've been asking for this forever. I need this breakthrough. And if I say no, how am I going to help other women? And, you know, I said no to something that's going to help me break through. So
Yeah.
I really felt God say, Ashley, I don't know how you ended up on this phone call either, but here's the opportunity. So you better say yes. So I'm really glad that I did.
Awesome. Yes. And Miss Lashandria?
So my story is kind of like Latanya's. I said yes before I could say no, because I'm so used to saying no. And then I'll go back and say, well, Lord, when is this going to happen? Or how is this going to happen? And it was like he kept saying, I keep giving you opportunities, but you're not taking the opportunities. You keep saying no. And so this time when Don reached out, I was like, you know, he put her in my space for a reason, because I didn't know Dawn. I met her when I was trying to volunteer for event during the summer. And I just said yes. I said, I'm not going to say no anymore. This is my year of no expectations and going with the flow. And I said, Lord, if you give me opportunities, I'm going to start saying yes. I'm not going to say no anymore. So
I'm going to start saying yes.
yes.
Lord. Did I leave out anyone? Did everyone have an opportunity to give their reasons as to why they said yes? Yes, Angela.
Dawn is why I said yes. I mean, if those of you that have worked with her know, I mean, she is an amazing coach and just has such a heart for the people that she works with. And I did say no at first, but Dawn didn't take no for an answer, and I'm glad she didn't. But honestly, she's the reason I
Awesome.
share my story, because I love helping people, but working with Dawn is just the icing on the cake.
That was it. Oh, okay. Dawn, you the icing on the cake. That's the reason why.
Right. Just it. Just it, y'all. And you know, it's so funny that I am so proud of all the authors in this anthology. I just can't even tell you. And you know, all of you are saying all these fantastic things about me, and I so appreciate it. But what I want y'all to understand is that I'm just the vessel. I'm just the vessel, because who, you know, in the middle of a pandemic, is that the right time to roll out an anthology? Probably not. But I mean, it was like, so it was an urgent thing for me. I rolled it out, and I had people question me like, what are you doing? How are you going to do this in the middle of a pandemic? I said, because this is the time to do it. This is now. It was like so urgent for me. And so I've been called to do it. And like I said, I'm just the vessel. These authors are the ones with all of the breakthroughs and, you know, the courage to tell their stories. This is what, there is nothing more satisfying for me. I mean, it's just amazing. They are all amazing women.
Yes, they are. I can't wait for the book to come out. And so share with us how we can get in contact with you, how our audience can get in contact with you.
You can get in contact with me, probably the best place. And of course I have my email, but the best place to get in touch with me is Facebook Messenger. I am on Facebook under Dawn Lieck, also Dawn Lieck, Finally Free LLC. I have a Facebook group, Finally Free to Be Me. And my email is finallyfree1, the number 1, LLC @gmail.com. And as y'all can see, that Finally Free theme is like, I'm all about it. The name of my company is Finally Free LLC. And I named it just, you know, from my journey. I mean, it's just that much to me, because every day I can wake up and know that I'm finally free to be me. I'm free to do whatever I want to do, and the sky's the limit, you know? So I know who I am now. So it's amazing.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So you have heard it. You've heard it directly from the inspiring and international author and just a wonderful person, Ms. Dawn Leek, and the amazing authors of this upcoming project, anthology project, Finally Free. Those of you, I want to right now speak to those of you that are a part of the group. We're part of the Facebook group that is called Finally Free to Be Me. Listen, we're part of that community. If you feel like that this is a project for you, go ahead. Let's get in contact with our visionary. Believe me, if it speaks to you, go ahead and do it. And we celebrate when the opportunity that we all can come together and celebrate the project of Finally Free. It has been such an amazing conversation that I've had with these ladies. And before we end, does anyone have the last thing to say? Well, that's it. We thank you for tuning in with us at Coffee Conversation with Sandy. And I do ask that you do go to our page, which is Coffee Conversation with Sandy and Friends. I do want you to like and share. And another thing, listen, find that friend during this month. Just remember that in domestic violence, we just want to bring that awareness to you, is that the next time you're standing in line with, say there's 3 or 4 women that are standing in line, let's be a little bit more patient, because the statistics say that one of us has gone through some sort of a domestic violence, and you just don't know. Maybe she's just having a bad day. Okay, give her a smile. Let her know, hey, you maybe want to kind of pay for a couple of things that are in her line, I don't know. Sow a seed. But listen, Coffee Conversation is here to empower you. It is here to inspire you. And it is definitely here that we can hold each other accountable. And it is always our opportunity to just have, yes, a great cup of coffee. I need to let y'all know. Listen, y'all know our friend Yolanda Jerry. This is one of her cups. So I'm featuring her cup on Coffee Conversation today, okay? So listen, if you all get a cup, send me one that way and I'll promote your cup, okay? All right, listen, it's been fantastic. Stay with us and listen. Thank you so much for being with Coffee Conversation with Sandy and Friends on this great Sunday afternoon. And you all be blessed. You know that I love you. Listen, take care and bye-bye.